Welcome to the Sports Betting Podcast from pregame.com for the week of November 19th, 2009. I'm your host, RJ Bell. I'm joined by Vegas Runner, genuine professional bettor here in Vegas, Marco D'Angelo, 30 years in the business. This is segment 4 of 6, big game preview, NFL, the Colts at the Ravens. Vegas Runner, tell us about the line in this game.
Interesting line. Baltimore opened as a 1-point home favorite with a total of 45. As of today, Indy is now 1-point road favorite, and the total's still 45. So we've seen a little difference there in opinion.
Now, this to me is the first time that Baltimore's been not necessarily undervalued, but not valued at a premium by Vegas.
I agree.
Baltimore has shockingly, been considered one of the best teams. Now, they were certainly considered one of the best early.
Real hot.
But then, even after all these losses, the line always seemed to be like this team was great.
Yeah.
Finally, now we're saying at the current number that Indy is 4 points better on a neutral. 3 points for the home for Baltimore. Now that Indy's a 1-point favorite, you got a 4-point difference. Finally, it's either they love Indy or they finally have gotten off the Baltimore bandwagon. All right, Marco, this is your official free pick.
Yes,
and
it
we
is.
each give one official free pick on our 6 videos. Now, we also give a lot of leans. Last week you won. We all 3 won.
Yeah.
What's your free pick streak right now?
9-3, sir.
9-3, right here for free.
Right here for free.
All right, convince us.
All right. One other thing for the weekend. I do another free video. I do one on Saturday night for the college games on Friday night and Sunday. It's called Inside the Line. Last 2 weeks, those plays are 5-1 free.
So you just get on. Do you wear that hat?
Sometimes I do.
I watch it. I do. I watch it.
And then you break down some games.
Break
for us.
down some games.
And those are free and winning.
Those are free and winning. So
All right, well,
keep it
awesome.
going.
Convince us.
What I'm looking at here, everybody knows about last week's game, the Sunday night game. They watched Indianapolis and New England, and there's not anybody that watched the game that feels that Indianapolis deserved to win that game. We all agree. They got the ball back at the end of the game. I like to take teams that win ugly the next week. The public, you're going to get the best value you're going to get with the team because they're going to be undervalued. People think that they were lucky in winning. The fact that Indianapolis, in addition to last week's game, but they've had 3 straight games now that they've dodged a bullet where they very well could have lost. They played San Francisco 2 weeks ago, and then Houston 3 weeks ago, Houston 2 weeks ago, and then last week against Indianapolis. Going out on the road, they will be focused for this game. Baltimore is a complete sham. Forget this team. They're nothing to what they were last year. Yeah, they held Cincinnati to 0 points. Big deal. Cleveland. Cleveland. They may be the worst offense that I've ever seen in the NFL.
It sounds like he's quoting me last week. A beautiful free pick.
They got donuts, 0
that was
points.
nice.
That's a lot.
What I'm concerned about with this Baltimore team is where's their offense gone? Forget the fact that Cleveland couldn't
All right, so
score.
hold on a second. Is this a value play? It sounds like there's no matchups here. There's no motivation. It sounds like a value play. You think Baltimore's overrated?
Yes.
And you think Indy is underrated off of last week?
Yes.
Now this is where I really question things. In an earlier video we talked about LSU, and your rationale was LSU is underrated in this spot against Mississippi. Now you're saying the Colts with Peyton Manning and the undefeated 9-0 are underrated. And you got good reasons for both in a narrow sense. Not to go back to the LSU, you can watch that video. But in this case, you're saying they didn't look great on a marquee Sunday night game, so people are coming away thinking they're not quite as good. But it seems like that's a narrow focus, which is accurate, but there's a bigger focus, which is the Colts are undefeated, they have Manning a quarterback, and everyone loves them. Do you really think when you weigh the Sunday night effect with the big picture effect, in total, they're underrated?
Because of 3 straight weeks that they have not performed superior. People that have bet Indianapolis, even though they're 9-0, they're 0-3 the last 3 weeks. The public's losing money betting the Colts.
All right, so that's a good point because, again, we always talk about when it's an in-season ATS streak, it's about people are remembering that when
Actual
it's
cash.
in-season. All right, as a handicapper, what's the one factor jumps out at you, VR, for this game?
I don't like to disagree, especially with the free pick, as hot as Marco's been. But coming in, I'll tell you the truth, my lean was towards Baltimore in this game. The line move has scared me off it as of right now, but statistically and handicap-wise, I like Baltimore for one reason. Indianapolis.
But let's think. I'm sorry to interrupt because you haven't been talking a lot, but the line move for Indy.
Now they've gone the favorite.
Yeah, what we always talk about is how a line move on a marquee team could either be a potential buyback or a genuine move.
Right.
When you look at this Colts line move, how certain are you this is true steam?
I'm not worried that it's true steam. What I want to see is, as the weekend gets here, is the betting public looking at Baltimore as having value now that they're a home dog. If it gets to 1.5, if it gets to 2. Because the only way this line's going is up from here. Baltimore will not get down to a pick and it won't go to favor. So I just want to see the perception. But
why would that make you, if the line keeps going up, why would you like Baltimore less?
I'd like them more at that point. So I want to see if what they do with that money that comes in.
So you're leaning towards Baltimore now, but if you get even more value, you might make it a best bet.
Make it exactly an official play. And the reason for this is simple. Indy has not been able to run the ball at all. I mean, this team's 29th in the NFL in rushing, so all they've been doing is throwing, and yes, they're the best in football at doing that this year. But now you're challenging this Baltimore defense, and I know they're not as good as they have been in past years, but they've been doing well with this bend and don't break. I mean, they're not allowing too many points.
Have they been doing well? Here's who they beat this year: Kansas City, at San Diego, which is the one win I look at and say is a nice win, though San Diego was beat up big time that game. They beat Cleveland twice, and a Denver team, and now Baltimore was home. I mean, Denver's at least an average team, if not a little bit better. But Baltimore was home, and we've now seen this Denver team is probably average or slightly above. Who have they? I mean, I don't understand. They were getting dominated by the Vikings before trying to come back. Supposedly, the fact they kind of played New England tight is a sign they're good. And then the Bengals, who are a good team, physically beats them up twice. I totally agree with Marco. I entered in this game saying, how good is this Baltimore team? What I'm shocked by is this line. I mean, the idea right now is Colts team is 4 points better. I mean, let's go back to the Dallas Green Bay. You had your winner last week was Green Bay. We have a team, Green Bay, that a lot of people think it was, or at least before last week, was in the bottom third of the league against a super hot Cowboy team, and the line opened at pick and went to 3 for Dallas. This line is already passed where that line opened up. Can you really say the relative difference between Indy and Baltimore is greater or as great as Green Bay and Dallas entering last week?
Yeah, I can't argue with that comparison of it. I'm still looking at this game. The one factor, we keep talking Baltimore, and you guys keep mentioning their defense.
I'm not mentioning their defense.
I want to talk about their offense. In the last 2 weeks, they scored 7 points against Cincinnati, and Cincinnati's got a decent defense.
Yeah, look at the Pittsburgh.
Okay, but they scored 16 points last week to Cleveland. 7 of those were on a pick 6 from Brady Quinn, and 3 of them was on an interception deep in their territory that gave them a chip shot field goal. This team hasn't scored any points in 2 weeks, and you're going against Peyton Manning.
This should have came out as Indy -3. I mean, how Indy came out as a dog.
If that's the case, how do you like Baltimore?
This is going to the old school, the Marco talk. How can I like Indy in this spot? Here's how the game's going to go down.
You got 10 seconds.
Here's how the game's going to go down. Baltimore's going to run with Rice and McGahee. They convert 50% on third downs at home. Indy allows 45% third down conversions on the road. Peyton Manning's going to spend his whole afternoon on the sidelines watching this offense run the ball up and down the field. They're going to end up beating this Indy team by 3. Indy goes back home 9-1. I'm telling you now.
All right, we got to wrap quick. Great. We're going to have another NFL game. We're looking at the Sunday night game next. And remember, you can get all of our videos at pregame.tv, or you can download and listen. Just go to iTunes and search for pregame.com.